Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, February 17, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what that's been like in your year recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer models that came out today. So keep your eyes focused right here at the timestamp as we go to the next 168 hours. That's the next 7 days. And also keep your eyes peeled right here as we focus our attention on Jamaica and look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represent inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. Alright, so we can see that as we head into Tuesday, not gonna be seeing much in the morning, but definitely some afternoon rainfall is possible across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. We see the moisture and the green stretching from the east to the west across the island. Wednesday, we definitely see some morning rainfall across the south and eastern end of the island. And then Wednesday afternoon, we see an abundance of moisture across eastern, southern, and western parishes. Very interesting. Thursday morning, look at all of this moisture across portion of the island. Definitely some heavy rainfall in the dark greens and the yellows for sure. Thursday afternoon, something similar, especially across the western end. Friday, we see some rain across northern parishes. Then Friday afternoon, maybe section of some southwestern parishes getting in on some of the action. Saturday is when the frontal system starts to bring its northeasterly flow and moisture into portion of northeastern parishes. Very interesting. Saturday afternoon, we still see much of the same, some of which could spill into section of some southwestern parishes. Sunday, what do we see? Some rainfall across northeastern Jamaica. Then section of some southern and western parishes during the afternoon. Monday, we stop right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Monday, February 24, 2025. Not seeing much activity across Jamaica, but we do see an abundance of moisture to the north of the Dominican Republic and across section of Central America. Let us match this latest Euro model, the latest GFS, and see if we actually have consensus. Alright, so Tuesday morning, not seeing much of anything across Jamaica, just like what the Euro was showing. But Tuesday afternoon, we see some isolated shores across section of some central and western parishes. Very interesting. Wednesday morning, no, what do we see? Don't see much in the morning, but as we head into the afternoon, we see some isolated showers across sections of some central and western parishes. Thursday, we see an abundance of rainfall in and around the island on the morning of Thursday. And then Thursday afternoon, especially across western Jamaica, northeastern parishes on Friday morning. And then not seeing much activity on Friday afternoon. But Saturday, we definitely see that northeasterly flow, bringing that moisture to northeastern Jamaica. Then by the end of the day, some of this activity could definitely spill into section of some southern parishes. Sunday, definitely some northeastern and eastern parishes getting in on some amount of rainfall on Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, something similar across sections of central and western Jamaica. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Monday, February 24, 2025 as well. We do see an abundance of moisture right here to the northeast of the Bahamas. Not seeing that moisture that we saw to the north of the Dominican Republic, but we do see some moisture in and around Jamaica at that time, and we don't see it on the Euro for that time. So we'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, in terms of the total accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, we know the most rainfall is represented by what we see here on the key on the right. That's the reds into the dark reds and burgundies are represent anywhere from 1 to 2.5 inches of rainfall, and the purples into the pinks represents 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. And we can see that the most in the way of rainfall should be plaguing portions of Central America. We're talking about sections of the Yucatan into Guatemala, Belize, sections of Honduras getting in on some of the action too, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia getting in on some of this as well. And some of this activity could definitely spill into Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana. So too far eastern Cuba, northeastern Jamaica, northern Hispaniola, including northern Haiti and northern Dominican Republic. Sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique getting in on some of the action as well. And if we match this latest Euro to the latest GFS, we can definitely see the consensus, the very same spots shaded on the Euro. Those are the areas that are going to be picking up the most in the rainfall over the next 7 days, and we especially see the purples into the pinks and the burgundies. It represents 2 to maybe all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall. So those areas could definitely pick up some isolated flash flooding, if not some landslides taking place. But if we zoom in on Jamaica regarding our total accumulated precipitation over the next 7 days, we can clearly see that northern Jamaica is going to be the recipient of most of the rainfall. The Euro showing the most of that in the greens and the yellows and the oranges across the northern parishes. The GFS showing the dark blues into the greens across northern parishes, but it's clearly the northeastern end that's going to be picking up the most rainfall. St. Mary, Portland spilling into section of Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. We see up to 81 millimeters of rainfall on the Euro. For Portland, the GFS only going all the way up to at least 49 millimeters of rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Alright, let us switch gears and focus our attention on the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we have a ridge of high pressure right here to the north of the main development region. To the east of the ridge of high pressure, we have a frontal system that has induced a trough right here to the northeast of the Caribbean. And we can see another frontal system right here stretching all the way from the northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into the southern portion of Florida, the Bahamas, and the Gulf of Mexico as we speak. And we know the ridge of high pressure to the north is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. We can make out the clouds associated with that frontal system and the trough that has induced to the northeast of the Caribbean. We can also make out the clouds associated with that other frontal system extending all the way down into southern Florida, the Gulf of Mexico, into the northern Bahamas right there. And we can also make out the low level flow of the low to mid level clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure that is to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean until later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Monday, February 17, 2025. It was stated that rain was in the forecast for parts of northern Jamaica on Monday morning, also affecting sections of some central and western parishes during Monday afternoon. And on northern Jamaica, we're talking about parishes like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And although there was no post made in the morning for northern Jamaica, we didn't get in on much in the way of rainfall at all. It was definitely sunny conditions, if not partly cloudy skies, across the north coast in the morning. But the afternoon definitely brought some amount of overcast skies, if not some isolated showers, to sections of some central and western parishes, because a post was made here on our Twitter page at around 3:01 p.m. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as you make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see that around 3:01 p.m. the visible satellite image was posted, and it highlighted some clouds, bring some overcast skies, if not some isolated showers, to sections of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, and sections of St. Andrew and Kingston definitely got in on some of the action too. And if we take a look back at the visible satellite images before all was said and done with the day, we can even see that most of the clouds were either pushing south or westward. Definitely brought some amount of rainfall that I'm sure many persons were grateful for today. And we need to take a look at the infrared because we even had some brief isolated thunderstorms. We know the sparkling white dots right here that we see across St. Elizabeth represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. And we even see the upper level clouds being sheared off, the cumulonimbus clouds at that time being sheared off towards the northeast. We spoke about this yesterday, and that was exactly what took place. Just as predicted, definitely got that activity across sections of the southwest for sure. And we can even highlight the rainfall that portions of the corporate area received today too. This is halfway through, and we can definitely see people walking with their umbrellas, people in their vehicles with their windshield wipers on. Definitely got in on some amount of light to moderate rainfall for sure. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they are planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the CIMH, that's the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website. This map is 100% accurate, but it does paint quite the picture of where we had that afternoon rainfall today. Just like where the visible close-up satellite images showed us the clouds across sections of some central and western parishes, more so south central into southwestern parishes. Definitely got the activity across portions of St. Andrew into St. Catherine as well, just like what we saw on the live camera from See Jamaica. And we also have some comments here from some of our followers on our Instagram page confirming what the weather was like in their area. We have Kimberly Love _ myself stating rain. What is? Yes, this was predicted, Kimberly. We also have Miss Melisha stating rain are falling at Kingston now. Thank you very much for confirming that. I was in Kingston when we got some of that rainfall too. We also have Sassy Melody stating having rain in St. Andrew, as well as Kemar 8631 stating rain in Central Village right now at 4:22 p.m. Thank you very much for confirming that as well. And we have at least one comment here from one of our followers on our Twitter page. We have Fest Genius stating rain was heavy them time here. Thank you for confirming that. And we can see that the infrared close-up satellite images are confirming the thunderstorms that southwestern portion of the island got in on for sure, the clouds being sheared off. But we're going to be reloading this image, and we're going to be taking a look at what's happening right now. And the latest still image is showing 0145 UTC, which is actually 8:45 p.m. So this just came out 11 minutes ago, considering that it's 8:56 p.m. right now. And we can make out some clouds right here to the southwest of the island, basically to the south of Westmoreland, to the southwest of St. Elizabeth. Not seeing much of anything here across the central eastern portion of the island. So who knows, maybe we have some rainfall within all of this to the southwest of St. Elizabeth. Let us see if the latest Doppler radar images are confirming this. Unfortunately, the Cuban Doppler radar still glitched out at February 3 into February 4. The Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery showing some rainfall to the southwest of Guantanamo Bay, as well as some rainfall to the southwest of the western peninsula of Haiti, pushing southwestward as we speak. Not seeing much across northeastern Jamaica. But if you take a look at the Cayman radar, not seeing much at all across western Jamaica or to the southwest of us, but we can make out that southern Cuba is in the clear, the Cayman Islands are in the clear, but sections of the waters to the south and southwest of the Cayman Islands definitely getting on those blues into the greens to represent some light to moderate rainfall. And if we take a look at what's happening right now on See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the flat bridge, we can see that it is very much fair as we speak. What is this? This looks like some kind of animal crossing the bridge. Is that a dog? Either way, you can see more live streams like this on See Jamaica's YouTube channel, guys. These live streams are here for your viewing pleasure, and we're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that we have across the island. So please ensure that you subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Yeah, there we go. Okay, here we have the dog, it seems. Alright, let's go. So Fear Night. I wonder if we roll back the camera, if we could see some rainfall earlier. Is it gonna show? Does it look wet? Kinda looks wet. Yeah, maybe we got some isolated shore activity. Come on, the place looks wet, so we definitely got some rainfall around there today. Definitely. Alright, here we go. Going back, look how soaking wet it is. Hope everything was alright at that time. Yep, look at that. Huge downpour as well. Alright. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see we have 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Tuesday, temperature should dip down to about 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This one from the GFS is showing 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and we can see Jamaica embedded in some slight yellows that we can see from the key on the right that represents up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the normal temperature for the month of February across Jamaica is around 86.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that's converted to degrees Celsius, that's around 30.1 degrees Celsius. So it should be receiving anywhere from 30.1 degrees Celsius up to 31.1 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Tuesday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here to highlight from my JPS Online. We have to highlight these because that when we have power outages in an area, it can definitely exacerbate the heat because we don't have our fan or AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have your friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way for Tuesday, February 18, 2025. We're referring to Garland as well as Pudding Lane and section of Howard Cook Boulevard in St. James from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're also referring to Mount Zion, Brandon Hill, as well as Portland Avenue, Rivertown City, and Callaloo Mews in St. Andrew from 9 as well as 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. or to 5 p.m. We also are talking about Mason Hall in St. Mary from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Moorfield to Wakefield from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thompson in Manchester from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Reynolds District from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. as well as Cardiff Hall, Great House from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Either way, we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others including children, elderly people with medical conditions and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Even if you're not thirsty, put away those sugar drinks, drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. We can see the abundance of dry air all across the entire Atlantic basin. We do see the low end of the scale in terms of dry air in the yellows across portion of the central to the western Caribbean. We do see a lot of moist air across the eastern Pacific and where we have the intertropical convergent zone right here between South America and Africa. So that's what we want to see. We want to see more moist air. We want to see more yellows. That's how we know we'll get actual rainfall in the dry period for sure. But what we're grateful for is that we're not seeing the Saharan dust. This is the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Tuesday, and we can see that North America, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, Northern South America, and Central America are in the clear because all the browns represent the Saharan dust should remain right here across the main development region. And we're glad that we're not seeing that vigorous of a plume either because the vigorous plume is represented by the dark shades of browns. And that when we see that, that means we're going to be having, very hazy skies. Hazy enough to trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're grateful that for 2 p.m. on Tuesday, that is where the Saharan dust should be, and that not such a vigorous plume is expected either. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, seeing those light shades of blues to dark shades of blues extending from the Gulf of Mexico into the northwestern Caribbean. That's what we want to see. some low wave heights, anywhere from 0.5 for meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave height. The southwestern Caribbean into the south central and the eastern Caribbean, getting none of those purples into the pinks. That represents 2 to at least maybe 3 meter wave heights. Jamaica's north coast tomorrow up to 0.8 of a meter wave height, 1.5 meter wave heights on the south coast expected, and that's because of the winds that are expected tomorrow. We see a mixture of those blues into the dull greens, that represent anywhere from 5 to 10 knots across the greater Antilles into the Bahamas. We see more of an easterly flow across the entire Atlantic basin into the Caribbean. Of course, we see the ridge of high pressure to the north, and we can also see the bright greens into the yellows that we can see from the key on the bottom right. That represents anywhere from 15 to 20 all the way up to 25 knot winds. And if we take a closer look at Jamaica's wind forecast, we see that on the north coast it should get up to at least 10 knots, south coast 13 knots, and we see the flow from the east, and we also see where the air could pile up across inland areas of some central and western parishes. So look out for that daytime heating, bring about some isolated showers once again, and the upper level wind still coming in from the southwest. But let us look at what should be taking place. Alright, so we're gonna actually go out in time. Let's see how it is. Alright, so what do we see in the morning? Alright, here we go. We start to see in the late morning hours, 11 a.m. some blues across eastern portion of the island. That's some isolated showers. Let us match what we're seeing here on the GFS to the latest Euro. Let's see if we actually have some consensus. Alright, there we go. We actually have the consensus, but the Euro is trying to incorporate portion of northern and western Jamaica at that time. I'm more inclined to believe the eastern Jamaica rainfall. Let us continue. Let's see what's going to be taking place as we head into the afternoon. Alright, here we go. 4 p.m. on Tuesday. This is what the GFS is showing. Some isolated showers across sections of some inland areas of some eastern, central, and western parishes. Let us see what the Euro is showing for the same time period. Alright, something similar. Isolated showers across mainly central and western parishes, even sections of inland areas of eastern Jamaica getting on some of the action. We'll see it actually unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs tomorrow afternoon. Even the total accumulated precipitation forecast from the Euro and the GFS models are showing that there's going to be some rainfall within the next 24 hours. Euro showing all the way up to at least the yellows, that maybe represents up to 0.4 of an inch of rainfall, maybe 0.5 of an inch of rainfall across sections of central Jamaica. The GFS showing most of the rainfall for the next 24 hours across the southwestern end. And it's about the same amount of rainfall. We'll see how it actually unfolds, and whatever rainfall we'll get, we'll definitely take it, because we're in the month of February. We're in our dry season, and in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to at least 19 millimeters of rainfall, and in Montego Bay we usually receive up to at least 2.9 inches of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the month of February or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. You know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some low-level clouds pushing from east to west as usual across the entire Caribbean. Definitely bring some isolated showers for sure. And if we take a look at what's happening across the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's taking place right now. Not seeing much across the Leeward Islands or Puerto Rico, and even we loaded from earlier today, not seeing much either. Maybe some isolated showers across western Puerto Rico, some showers passing through Guadeloupe at that time. But if we load the Doppler radar images from the Barbados radar site, not seeing much across Barbados right now, but we do see some rain bands passing to the north from east to west, pushing into portion of Dominica, section of Martinique and St. Lucia, maybe section of the Grenadines getting on some of the action too. What if you have Doppler radar images showing some amount of rainfall across portion of Colombia, passing through the ABC Islands, coming into portion of eastern Venezuela, the Yucatan Peninsula, northern Guatemala as well. And regarding where most of the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that section of the northern Bahamas, the southern Bahamas, section of Haiti, sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, sections of St. Vincent and Barbados, not to mention sections of eastern Venezuela, southern Venezuela, western Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, eastern Nicaragua, eastern Honduras, section of Guatemala, into Belize and the Yucatan Peninsula could get in some amount of rainfall within the next 24 hours. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.